Shredded wedding dress, painful love. 2025 new Dracula thriller launches. Princess and princesses love to dance. The happiest thing for two people is to enjoy physical pleasure. I was soak in the room every day. However, fate played a joke on them. Because of foreign invasion, the prince was dragged into battle. Before the expedition, the prince prayed to the bishop. May the Lord keep the princess safe. If anything happens to the prince, he doesn't want to live in this world. The prince bled the earth under the will of God. Unexpectedly, the princess was ambushed by barbarians. The guard next to him was soon killed. The terrified princess fled desperately. The prince on the front line soon learned the news. He rushed non-stop to rescue the princess. At this moment, the princess horse stepped on the trap and accidentally fell. This is a minefield. The pursuit of the enemy began to approach. This also brought the prince time. However, the accident happened soon. The princess unfortunately stepped on the trap and unable to move. She could only wait to crisis. The prince arrived just in time. He pulled out his sharp blade and slashed at the enemy. However, an enemy still got there first, even if the prince kills him with a flying blade. But the prince's chest was soaked with blood. Finally, the princess died in the arms of the prince. I didn't even say goodbye. The angry prince finds the bishop. He killed thousands for God. But God doesn't want to protect one of his women. The prince prayed to God to resurrect his wife. But the bishop said that the order cannot be violated. The love between the two will last until the unwilling prince expressed his dissatisfaction with God. He stabbed the bishop with a broken cross. And let the other person speak to God unless you return your wife. Otherwise, his life will never belong to him. 400 years later, the priest arrived from afar. In the hospital, they encountered a difficult patient. Neither medicine nor science can explain. Come to the ward. The priest saw a woman. She was locked in a dark room. He even had thick shackles on his feet. The woman was the queen's future granddaughter and ended up speaking out against the church on her wedding day. And then they hysterically attacked the crown. This is outrage. A woman's ID card is still from 1769. 130 years old. No. Based on his years of experience, women are not demons. To verify my guess, the priest opened the skylight. The sun instantly burned the woman's palm. The cross is also lit by vampire hatred. The priest said, as long as women tell the truth, just give him what he wants. As he spoke, he squeezed a drop of blood from the doctor's hand. After tasting the sweet, the woman finally speaks. His honor was originally a prince. He came here to find his beloved princess, but no one knows what the princess looks like. The priest believed, just find the princess. You can find the originator of the vampire. At the same time, Lawyer Kong found the princess castle. I don't want the princess' appearance to give a little phrase. Understand from the other party's self-introduction. The prince is the famous Count Dracula. Brother Kong didn't realize that he had already entered the tiger's mouth. This trip to Brother Kong is for a property owned by Dracula. The government intends to so come and ask if he need to sell. When rummaging through documents, the cross in the bag fell out. An alert Dracula asked him if he was religious. Brother Kong is an atheist, indicates that it was given by the groom. Dracula didn't care much. He raised his hand and burned the cross. After a brief meal, Dracula arranged a room for Kong, and specifically told him not to go around alone at night. After running, the priest found the vampire. After learning that he's fine, Wang Zhu was relieved. To gain a better understanding of women, the priest needs to check her room. After a rummage, the priest finally discovered the portrait of the princess. Looks like we're one step closer to finding Dracula. Brother Zhongshan is curious by nature. Sneaked into the castle cellar in the middle of the night. See the coffin in front of him. Thinking there must be some gold and silver jewelry, Dracula actually slept in it. The next second, Dracula's gargoyle had him. See these monsters? Brother Kong suddenly realized Dracula in front of me is not human at all. I know I can't escape death. In order to live no regrets, he finally wants to know who Dracula is. Don't want to spoil the fun. Dracula slowly tells her story. He used to be a devout believer in God, revolt against God's betrayal. The curse gave him immortality. Dracula believed that pure souls are reincarnated in order to return to his beloved wife. Waited 400 years. Brother Kong is confused. Even so, when and where the princess will be reincarnated is unknown. How will Dracula find him? Bring up this sad past. Dracula burst into tears. The Black Death spread through Europe for centuries. Half the women died. The remaining women seek refuge in the sanctuary, but he wasn't very popular there. Loneliness makes Dracula emaciated. He wants to lie forever on his wife's grave, but he still wakes up from broken dreams. The pain he could no longer bear. To end his life, Dracula chose to commit suicide by jumping off a cliff. But the repeated decline did not end his life. Instead, it left a more broken heart. Intrigued, he snuggled up next to his wife's belongings. I hope to feel my wife's presence again. It was the scent of his wife that inspired him. Searching in the vast crowd is undoubtedly a needle in a haystack. Why not use a charming perfume? Let women take the initiative to deliver. Perhaps the reincarnation of the wife is among them. Dracula searched the world, finally found the perfume that can charm thousands of girls. You can fascinate them with just one drop. Yet Dracula travels all over the world, visiting the royals and nobles of various countries. But never got any clues. When he arrived in France, a lady showed Dracula the shadow of his wife. However, the approaching reality hit him again. Collapse. Dracula bites the woman in anger and make more women his slaves. Find a wife for him all over the world, and one of them happened to be caught by the priest. Soon Dracula returned to the cemetery again. The thought of his wife made him cry. Dracula chose to stay in the castle and wait for his apprentice to bring back the good news. As time goes by, Dracula amassed an inexhaustible wealth. However, this was not enough to fill the void in his heart. Listen to Dracula's love story. Brother Kong believes that he will fulfill himself because the woman he loves is still waiting for him to go back to the other party. Brother Kong said that his fiancée's name is Mara. As he spoke, he took out the photo in the center photo. Dracula was thrilled. This is the wife he has been searching for 400 years. I didn't expect it to be Brother Kian's fiancée. To thank Brother Kong for bringing her back to him. Dracula spared his life. Dracula orders the gargoyles to prepare. I can't wait to embark on the journey of finding my wife. At the same time, Father from the Bible found a way to destroy Dracula. As long as he sincerely repents, receive God's forgiveness, the curse can be lifted. Then the cross will be used to kill this one. The devil coincidentally. The Myra Dracula was looking for is here. It turns out that the previous female vampire was Myra's best friend. Mentioned their marriage. Myra felt she was in a hurry. But anyway, he still loved Brother Kong deeply. Now Brother Kian's whereabouts are unknown. You can only hope that the other party will come back as soon as possible. The priest did not confess the secret. Just ask Myra to leave her dress. At night, Dracula in disguise came to the monastery to buy. The uninformed nun led the wolf into the house. When Dracula lifted the veil, only then did they realize the appearance of spirit of God. Dracula chose the cave entrance of his most devout belief to make yourself radiant. Little did he know that during the time he was away, Brother Kong sneaked through the window to escape from prison. When the gargoyle finds it, he starts the steep walls made it impossible for them to settle down. In the end, they shot down Brother Kong with scratching legs. Brother Kong is lucky and has a great life. He fell onto the frozen lake. When the gargoyle approaches, the gargoyle is too heavy. This injured the other gargoyles. Instead, it gave Brother Kong a chance to escape. Dracula came to town. He went to the hospital first and released after being nourished by human blood. The maid is resurrected with blood. Afterwards, the priest learned of the situation. Someone has a man in his early 30s came to the hospital. The priest suspects that Dracula has come to town. At Dracula's command, the maid approached Myla as her best friend and invited her to the dance tonight. Dracula is full of expectations. So Myra walked into the room. 400 years of waiting has finally been exchanged for a meeting. I'm worried that Myra won't be able to accept it for a while. Dracula chooses to approach slowly. The maid keeps creating opportunities for the two to meet by chance. They got to know each other slowly during the nice. Time is like the past, when the two are alone. In order to awaken the memory, Dracula shows Myra his wife's favorite music box. When the music starts playing slow, dusty memories are gradually awakening. Myra vaguely saw the happy time between the two. Dracula says Myra looks like his wife, but Myra said she was engaged. He already belonged. Dracula is not in a hurry, always maintain the appropriate distance, waiting for the flowers to bloom. He believed Myra wouldn't be around for long. He will know who you are. However, Myra actually saw the injured Brother Kong from the priest's mouth. Myra learns that Dracula is the culprit behind the scene. The truth took him by surprise, but Myra never wanted to believe it. Dracula's fascinating life. How could it be a scary vampire? Checked that Myla wasn't bitten. The priest let him go back to his room to rest. After seeing the music box, Myra unconsciously started to play. The lingering past to the true lingers in front of me while he was intoxicated. Dracula appeared in front of him. Myra was surprised and delighted. He told Dracula to leave quick, so he wants to jump off the building. Worried, he retained Dracula. The love in my wife's heart has never been extinguished. Dracula with sincere love awakened the genes in Myra's body. He knew he was Dracula's wife in a previous life. Myra practices the true love of the true with her actions. Dracula also successfully assimilated. Let her have the immortality of a vampire. However, the pungent smell of blood made the priest aware. Dracula is in this room. Sure enough, when she got upstairs, Myra had disappeared without a trace. The only place to find Myra. It's Dracula's castle. Brother Kong knows the way and can take them all the way there. Unprepared, he can't handle Dracula at all. The priest thought of the king, hoped to get his assistance. Little do you know the maid, I have already found my home first. The two were a loving couple. Facing the appearance of the king is not defensive. To drain the last drop of a man's blood, the maid charms Wang Zhu and lies on the sofa. Just as he was about to speak, "Father," they came. The maid wants to resist, but was knocked down by gunpowder. The angry maid is immortal. After a while, he stood up. He grabbed the priest and vented his anger. Critical juncture. Brother Kong picks up an unreasonable knife, cut off the maid's head with a knife. Gasping for breath, the priest hurriedly died with a cross. Maid's heart, going through a terrible scene. The king agreed to the priest's request. Immediately sent troops to the castle. Returned to the castle. Myra is addicted to beautiful love. However, Dracula's front foot has just arrived at the door. The cannon goes off. The lingering of the true was forced to be interrupted. The soldiers who entered the castle fought with the gargoyles. It didn't take long for them to find Dracula's coffin. Little did I know that there was no one in the coffin. Dracula took the opportunity to sneak attack. And these human soldiers are no match for him. It didn't take long. Dracula drained their blood. The priest is powerless. He can only face death calmly. However, before the priest conveyed God's will, Dracula can redeem himself. Now is the only chance. That is to say, God gave him the right to die. The shell soon hit Miller's room. Worried about his wife's Dracula rushed upstairs. The priest took the time to take out the magic weapon from the box before the soldiers burst into the room. Dracula wiped them out just in time. Come to Mara. Dracula's affectionate confession. The curse will disappear with his death. Mara will also be free. If not, God will take the one he loves from him. Again. For my beloved wife, Dracula chooses to be reunited with her by death. He silently closes the door. Let Mara cry heartbreakingly. Dracula opens her arms with the help of a priest. 400 years of suffering finally ended. Watching Dracula die, Myra's eyes are full of reluctance, but his tears were exchanged for a pile of ashes. With endless thoughts and love for his wife, Dracula's ashes were lost over the castle. The new version of Dracula is characterized by its unique romantic reinventing the poignant core of the vampire classic. The film focuses on the origin of Dracula's love obsession. Terry Jones brings the loneliness and paranoia back to the fullest. The joining of Christopher Waltz, and more drama. The picture has both image quality and eerie atmosphere. Emotional depth goes beyond traditional horror films, but the narrative is not entirely divorced the traditional framework for seeking love. The whole is an elegant interpretation of classic mythology.